American Studies in 180 seconds. Go. Here are the 25 kids, at least most of them, and the one loser who is narrating. We read Ragtime over the summer, but definitely not my favorite book. First class, no one knew where to meet, but we ended up reading a quotation from Lincoln. Later, that quote was taped into the spiral-bound notebooks, quote in which there is never to be anything written that is not related to American Studies. Stuff related to American Studies, which should be in the notebook, includes several discussion notes, journal reflections, history notes, level 1, 2, or 3 questions, and absolutely nothing on the right side of the red line, no matter what your OCD tells you. The first book of the year was The Things They Carried by Tim O'Brien. It's about the various experiences of the Vietnam War. The first paper based on the book was How to Tell a Blank Story. In this, you're supposed to write about something dramatic that happened to you in the style of Tim O'Brien's book. At the end of the book, we wrote yet another paper, this time emulating O'Brien's style in a photo-based narrative story with a photo from your childhood. The clock's moving quickly, so let's kick this up a notch. In the months between September and December, we read Preparation for the Next Life and Dreaming in Cuban, and also had a debate on the annexation of the Philippine Islands, which, like many others, ended up being quite heated, but fortunately this time no one decided to get up and leave for lunch. We went inside Guantanamo and discussed Cuba's role during the Cold War and today. Then we did something quite extraordinary. We jumped backwards to the Revolutionary War and then forward to today, all on the theme of terrorism in the span of only 2 to 3 weeks. Questions such as, were the Sons of Liberty terrorists? Was Washington a good leader? Why do they hate us? And can I get my rewrites to you on Saturday because the noise is off? Were all popular questions at this time. Many great works also came out of this time, such as our 9/11 POV stories, our annotations on the photo responses of Abu Ghraib photos, the graph of moral imperative versus national interest, and my favorite, my haiku to H. It goes as such. I have too much work. I don't have time for haikus. Please give me extension. Anyway, semester 2 began with a document about Obama's shifting views on gay marriage. The more important shift was the class's dynamics. We now moved chronologically and had a textbook, but more like a pocketbook, Boyer's baby book, per se. We also got the book Between the World and Me, written by Ta-Nehisi Coates as a letter to his son. It showed the experiences and lessons that Coates had learned and wanted to communicate to his son. Kind of like when Grandpa starts with the old back in my day. This guy showed up, so we toured from our chronological history for a day or two and talked about Teddy Roosevelt. A month later, we wrote Abecedarians. Needless to say, this paper was definitely one of the hardest papers I wrote this year. Then we moved into the realm of Emerson, Thoreau, Whitman, Andrew Jackson, the Forgotten Presidents, Harriet Beecher Stowe, and the Gettysburg Address. 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth upon this continent a new nation. Fortunately, we only had to imitate Whitman's poems and not what was considered one of the best speeches ever given. Chronologically moving into the early 1900s, we covered some of the most important topics in American history. The founding of the Bishop School. Did you know that the library is sitting on a river? After just having covered the fight for women's suffrage, our last novel of the year was The Awakening, which further emphasized the struggle that women had at the time. But the point I wanted to make with mentioning this was what I did for my last assignment. I did a set design as if the book was a play. So for anyone watching this after the 2015-2016 school year, do what you want to do to express what you know. Even if it means staying up on a Thursday night in May rendering a video at 11 o'clock, definitely not talking from experience or anything. Finally, we read the play and Butterfly. It emphasized that not everything is as it seems. So, like the play, American Studies is not an easy way to get English or history credit. You have to be fully invested in the class, its discussions, its assessments, and its 3 hours on an F day. So, that's really it. American Studies in 180 seconds, because 60 seconds or 120 seconds turned out not to be enough.